instead of going through another traumatic episode, let's go through some of the most beautiful moments between Jinx and Vi in Act 2, which I think shows how much trust and love they both have for each other. And do they have what it takes to be able to repair this relationship? Yeah, I know, the lore. I don't want to hear it. Don't even do it. My little heart can only handle so much. I think that in Act 2, it really is Jinx rescuing Vi. So let's jump in together and take a look at this relationship and the trust among sisters, because I think that they have some of the most beautiful moments of love and trust that we get to see. So you can see that here we are with Pit Fighter Vi, my favorite Vi, of course, and what we have is everyone holding up the tickets for who they think, who are they going to bet on is going to win the fight. And everyone's going for like Clawjaw. I don't know what his name is, but I'm going to call him Clawjaw. So here we have it, some fingers that are propping up with the symbol for Vi, which not only does it have Violet on the card, but it also has the two, hell dogs that are the symbol for Vi. But if you take a look at these beautifully manicured pink and blue nails, this is most definitely Jinx. So Jinx is there from the beginning watching Vi and her descent, but also she's choosing to bet on her sister. Right now, you're not so sure why she's betting on her sister, but she's there supporting her. Now, how realistic is it for this? When we have reached our bottom, when we feel abandoned, we often go to the safe place, the place that we feel that we can lose ourselves in, or the place that we don't have to deal with it. Now, for some people that might be drugs or drinking or gambling, but for Vi, everything about Vi is she fights. That's where she feels safe. And you can see that for her, she no longer has a care about herself. She hides who she is as an oil slick, which was actually really hard to do, if I may say, like on point, her makeup through all of this. But here she is drinking and fighting and no longer caring about herself because she has lost in one fell swoop both Caitlyn and her sister. That kind of a downward cycle, when we go through self-hatred and self-sabotage, is exceptionally common, especially for people that are avoidant. They will do anything to avoid feeling and thinking, and that can be really dangerous. There is no way that they are going to reach out or ask for help. When I was clipping through this scene, I was like, why do they spend so much time looking at the alleyway? But if you take a peek, you can see someone waiting, watching Vi get home. And you can see the tint of blue hair in the background. And that is for sure Jinx. Now, you could say at the beginning that Jinx was just watching her sister in hopes that she could see her get beat up, but there is no reason that she would make sure that she gets home safe also. And so I think that that shows a lot of her intention to make sure that her sister is okay, and perhaps also to be worried. And I think that there's something really cool about when you're fighting with someone and you're angry at them, but you're still protective of them. And I think that that's another piece that comes into play between Jinx and Vi. And you see that now Vi has started to push people away. That's what happens when people start to show concern or pity. Avoidant people, people that like to be looked at as tough, that there's nothing that can break them, that's the last thing in the world that they would ever want. So for Vi, she's even pushed away Lors, who has been there through everything. And now here she is, drinking alone, no longer caring. And that self-pity and self-sabotage can often be that self-fulfilling prophecy that just proves that I'm worthless, that I hurt and destroy everything that I touch. And I think that for Jinx, it's something that she understands all too well. And so for her, she empathizes with that. And if you take a look, I definitely can see that Jinx's look, there seems to be a little bit of like a glint in her eye. She definitely looks solemn and perhaps a little bit teary, watching the descent of her sister, the person that she looked up to. It doesn't seem like she's taking any enjoyment in watching what's happening to her sister. Now for Vi, all of the drinking, all of the things that she thought she was able to cope with, now she's not even able to fight anymore. And I think that for Vi, she doesn't care. It doesn't even matter. She just doesn't feel anything. And sometimes when you are so low, feeling something is better than nothing, even if it's negative. And so it's really hard when you've hit that cycle and you don't want to have anyone even help you. And especially you don't want anyone's pity. But Jinx is still there, watching her. And often we can empathize with things that we've gone through ourselves. And for Jinx, being able to see her sister as not just human, but flawed and hurting and vulnerable is probably really hard for her. It's so much easier for Jinx, who pretends like she has no empathy and no care, which is completely untrue, as we've seen with her relationship between her and Isha as well, and how she still feels for Silco and his loss, that she does feel. And it's easy to be angry at someone when they're at the top and they're fighting back, but for Jinx, someone that she truly does love, to be able to see them at their lowest, that often makes us have a really hard time to feel that animosity. And I think that their relationship, their love, is so great that that melts away the animosity that they have with each other. And that is one of the precursors to showing how strong a relationship is. Really strong relationships, no matter what happens, we have each other's backs. That in relationships, for me, psychologically, is so very cool. When you expect something, but something else happens, because there's something that matters to them even more than their own anger, their own animosity, and their own hurt. And I think that in Act 2, we see so many of these really precious, beautiful moments. And some, if you're not paying attention, you may not actually notice that they really are beautiful moments.
Looking good, sis.
Wait, just... I don't want to hear another word out of your mouth.
It's banter.
I'm not falling for another one of your tricks.
Now, you could say that this is a really brutal scene of people fighting, but these are two people that fought so hard they were trying to kill each other. And one is that Jinx calls her sis and then kind of mocks the Roman numerals on her face, which I think is hilarious. But also, Vi could have very well punched her, and she's definitely still angry, and she's so angry that she's pushing everyone away, fighting everyone quite literally. But she hits the wall, not her sister, and Jinx isn't fighting back. Anger, just like anxiety, will wipe our cortex, where we're not really paying attention to what's happening at these moments. That's what happened with Vi when Vi pushed her away and hit her. So that's naturally Vi's response. I'm not saying that it's okay, but it is what she does, what she's learned. And so in this case, she's actually showing a certain amount of restraint, though she is choking her. You shouldn't be doing this.
He's alive.
We both know that's bullshit.
Vi does not like to be thought of as she's being played or manipulated, because that would be a sign of she's weak and looked down upon. And so she's actually insulted by this, that someone would say something so ridiculous. But that Jinx is not fighting back and she's just staying there and allowing this to happen. You can see that there's a switch that happens with Vi at a certain moment. It's that tear, the tear of shimmer that comes out of Jinx's eye. It wakes Vi up, where she gets what's actually happening, that she's hurting her sister. Sometimes seeing someone else cry for some personality types can actually make them feel more angry, especially if they've dealt with someone that's used that to manipulate them. For Vi, this brings back the memories of who Jinx really is underneath all of these layers.
He needs our help. I can prove it.
And that our help, us together, the way that we speak can be separating to people or can bring us together. So using joining words are really important, especially in group dynamics. It's much more powerful to make us feel like a unit, us, an us, instead of it's me and you. It's an us and them, and you are the them. Vi taking a look at herself and what she's become, figuratively and literally in this case, to be able to ask yourself that question of, what do I want? Who am I? And that's what often happens or can happen with certain personality types when we hit rock bottom. We can do that reflection of who are we, and are we going to start picking up all of these broken pieces and make something better and stronger from it. Or I could say that love is stronger than fear and hate. Two sides of the coin. I hear you, Victor. I hear you.
I busted half of Zahn out of still water while you were passed out in the bottom of a mug. Now can it and keep walking before I kick your ass again.
Like the tone that they use with each other also is kind of sweet and it's mocking, but it isn't aggressive. And so you can tell that Jinx is not showing any harm in her body language and in her voice. She has that cutesy voice. Now, the way that you carry yourself, most of language is the way that we see and the way that we interpret. So that Jinx is kind of like curled up, really relaxed, the way that she's breathing. It shows that she's able to let her guard down with her sister. She's not trying to be threatening. But of course, Vi, completely different tone. She's kind of aggressive and abrasive and is worried that she's gonna be hurt or betrayed again by her sister. And that's her own reflection, but that's not the main focus of this video.
You wouldn't last 1 second without all your ugly gadgets and chicken shit tricks.
Ha! What about those over-designed bitch mittens you didn't even build yourself?
Okay, I was gonna actually try to make them. I was thinking about getting some hockey goalie gloves to be able to like modify. Anyways, at some point I might even do it, but like hilarious. Jinx is hilarious and she's being so biting, and that you didn't even build it yourself. When you're mocking each other and teasing each other as siblings, that's actually often a way that you bond. We kind of have this fight, we let it all out, show that bygones are bygones. Now, I'm not saying that you should fight in order to be able to deal with discourse, but in this case, they definitely do this in a very specific way that I think helps them vent off all of their frustrations and feel better afterwards. But let's take a look.
You think I need these to...
There. 1 second.
The air of surprise that Jinx uses, and that after she hits Vi, which Vi was completely not expecting, was that little like, see, I did it, and then it's over for her. Like, you asked for it, and you be careful what you ask for because Jinx delivered.
Last chance to surrender!
Go right ahead, fat hands.
But even when they're fighting here, they're not fighting to maim. This is more like siblings having a play fight where they mean it and they want to dominate the other, but they don't want to maim or hurt each other. For a lot of siblings that have grown up together, that was just commonplace, that you roughhouse to be able to show dominance. After that moment where they both see that Isha got hurt because of this, that woke them up. And for Vi to see Jinx showing true care and affection towards someone else really shows to Vi that Jinx has changed. She's now a big sister to someone else.
Still got all your insides?
But don't ditch us.
And when we talk about how important language is, when Jinx is saying, don't ditch us, reiterating that her and Vi are an us. that they're doing this together as a team. And doing that rebuilds relationships. And this is after they had this fight. You can hear there's no animosity from Jinx. This is bygones are bygones. This is just what happens, and it's okay. And for Vi, she has that moment of reflection in her eyes where she's like, like something's changed.
Why'd you come get me? You don't actually need my help. You haven't for a long time.
And that's the most beautiful part of this. She didn't actually need her help. I think that for Jinx, she saw her sister in this downward spiral, and she knew that if she tried to offer her help or say that she needed help, there was no chance in hell or Piltover that Vi would ever accept it. She doesn't want anyone's pity. She doesn't want to be looked down on. She doesn't want to be thought of as a charity case. And so she would have completely refused. And so Jinx did the opposite. She asked Vi for her help, for something that matters to Vi more than herself, which is her family, and keeping it together and rescuing others, which allows Vi to feel like the hero and be able to wake up and remember who she is and who she really fights for. And she already saw how Vi pushed away Loris when he was worried about her and tried to offer help. So she already knew that there was no way to be able to do this. And so she had this wonderful idea that they could do this together, save Vander, and possibly save their family. I hope I don't cry because I think that maybe it would be a good look to have all makeup go down just like it did for Vi. I can't even touch my eyes. Could be better, could be worse.
You don't actually need my help. You haven't for a long time.
And you hear Vi's voice where she's starting to get it that, oh, Jinx just came here to try to rescue me and help me. And looking down, and her demeanor is completely different. When people have the archetype that they carry with them of being tough and strong, they need that. That's what keeps them going. She hasn't yet been able to fully armor down and be able to show people who she is without this tough exterior that she uses as a defense mechanism. We often become protective or defensive because that was what we needed to survive when we were younger, and it was adaptive then. Yet often when we get older, it becomes maladaptive, but it's hard to let go of because letting go of it makes us feel threatened and vulnerable, and that feels difficult and weak. It's not, but she feels it.
Last time Vander needed us, we tried it alone, and nothing was ever the same. So, maybe this is like a do-over. Besides, he's your father too.
And what a beautiful reason. It's true. This is something that they can do together. And yes, I remember from watching all of the previews and talking about how I was hoping that Jinx and Vi would get a do-over with Vander. Didn't expect it to really happen in all of this way, but that's exactly what I'd hoped for, was that Jinx and Vi get this do-over, and what a perfect one to have the thing that broke them apart be the thing that pulls them back together.
He's gonna kill you! Don't hurt him!
And you hear Vi? She's not worried that they could hurt her. She's worried that Warwick could kill her sister. And that's what Vi is. She is this protector, this defender of those that need her, of those she loves. And so we get to see epic, amazing Vi, like super powered Vi at her greatest in these moments. Like, this is some of the best fight scenes. Like, I want them as posters in my room. The scenes are just so amazing. Love the one with Vi headlocking Banter. I just love that. It just shows how epic Vi is, how great of a fighter she is, that she's kind of taking him on all her own and she's got him in a headlock. Just so amazing. And you see Jinx wanting to protect her sister and not have something bad happen to her, but how conflicted she is between her father and her sister and not knowing what to do, but that she cares so much about her sister that she's willing to protect and defend her as well.
Vi, it's him. You have to believe me.
And that moment where Vi powers down her gloves, that is the biggest show of trust that she has for her sister. That she is willing to risk her life on her sister's word. And I think that that's just, when you are willing to believe in someone so much that you will put everything on the line for them, such an act of faith that she has in her. And I think that that's so beautiful, especially for Vi. For someone that really will always want to fight and not have to trust anyone and not put her risk. People that are avoidant have learned that people will abandon and hurt them. And the only person that you can really trust is yourself. That is everything to an avoidant personality type, that you know what? Everyone's gonna leave me, everyone's gonna hurt me, so I'm just gonna believe in myself and I'm gonna stand alone. So for Vi being that personality type and powering down her gloves when Vander is there, it just shows that trust and that love that she has for her, that she's willing to put her own life at risk to trust her sister for her sister. And that's that sacrifice that she shows. I love Vander having his entire hand over Vi's head, like he almost wants to try to absorb her into him. That deep love of loss for someone that you have a second chance with. It's so beautiful that they have this moment that rebinds them to each other as a family. It reminds them who they are to each other and how very important that is. For Vander, even though he's in beast mode, that he still remembers. For Vi, even though that she's avoidant, she was able to let go of it. And for Jinx, even though that she's disorganized in her attachment style, she was able to let go of that and trust and reach out to her sister. And they were able to come together and become a family again. That blood really was thicker than water. Their love was worth this sacrifice. And that's the thing in relationships, is that if you are willing to walk on that scary bridge, that shaky area that is so scary for you, and take that leap of faith, that it can be so monumental. Yes, it is a huge risk that you could fall and you could break again, but to be able to have these beautiful, precious moments that no matter what happens between them, they still had this. And this is something that they can remember. To have loved it all, especially such a pure love, even if you lose it, it is still worth it to have it. You just sometimes might need to pick up the pieces somewhere in between.
What are you waiting for? He's your dad, too.
I had something to say and then I got lost in the moment. Sorry, wait, I need a moment. Try to. For Jinx, I think that for her, this is something that she's hoped and dreamed for so long, that sometimes you're so worried that it might not have been real, and that it kind of fades into light, that you don't see it, just like a dream, just like that fantasy that she's probably played through so many times in her head, that it took her a moment before she could actually go to them. And that worry that it'll be ripped away. You can hear Vander as Warwick purring. While they're all together, which is the most heartwarming thought of this pure utopian happiness, this moment that they all share together.
To surrender your weapons. This is a place of peace.
Ugh.
For Vi to be able to go in without her weapons, that shows how much she cares about helping Vander. She remembers why she's there, what really matters, that even to not be protected herself, to be able to risk all of that for her father, that sometimes the best action is not to fight, and to remember those lessons that Vander told her. That Jinx then follows suit and trusts her sister. And that's that show of them now being this trusted unit.
This place. Do you think it could actually work? What if we stayed? Help them out?
We
see those statements? Vi is now also talking of them, that this decision, she's gonna stick with her sister, and she wants them to make this decision together. And that's really cool because they've been apart for all of this time, that this is more important. They're still a family.
Harm of which he is capable.
What do you think? You actually want my opinion?
When someone has asked something of us or requests our help, we actually like them more because we feel that they respect and like us, that our opinion matters. That also shows to Jinx that Vi sees her as an equal. And for Jinx, who has felt like someone that always breaks everything, that is exceptionally healing. And so the cool part is that they're both showing that they are different people, that they have evolved, that they've changed, that they've learned from their mistakes, so far at least, and that they're going to treat each other differently, not just by words, but by their actions. And that starts stitching back the fabric of their relationship. And I love that last moment of Vi shielding Jinx with her own back, keeping her little sister safe, even at this stage. So for Vi and Jinx, that shows that they want to stand at this stage together. And I think that that is that last beautiful moment of Vi protecting Jinx. How do we know that you really love and care about someone? It's when you're willing to put the things that you care about. And in this case, Vi is protecting Jinx at her own risk and cost to her own body and harm. It's not always possible to be able to fight your way out of every situation, but if you want to expand your mind and yourself, you can do that with today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. Learn, enhance, grow with Brilliant's ever-expanding set of new courses. Brilliant makes college-level courses available to help you stay as strong as you need to be, with each course designed for high-velocity learning, to help you stay focused and reach your goals, so that you're not the last one to the fight. And Brilliant makes learning like a game, with fun features that let you challenge yourself and compete with others. So it never gets boring, and also so that you keep learning, because we know that when learning is fun and engaging, knowledge just sticks better. And Brilliant has thousands of lessons: math, chemistry, physics, engineering, AI, computer science, and more, with new lessons being added every month. I practice just 15 minutes a day. That is all that you need, and no one can tell me they don't have 15 minutes to expand your mind. The other cool part about Brilliant is that it's interactive. I'm more of that visual learner. You're able to see things and take a look at things and break them down into smaller chunks if you so wish. And if you are still not sure, why don't you just try everything Brilliant has to offer for free? I said it, for free. And yes, that will still help out my channel. So please, why don't you do that? You have nothing to lose. You can try it out for free for 30 days. Just head on over to brilliant.org/GeorgiaDow or click on the link in the description. And if you don't want to have to type anything in, there is a QR button, right? I'm not sure where it is. You can find it. And if you want more, which I am sure that you will, you can get 20% off of an annual premium subscription. So just click on the button on the screen or the QR code, or head on over to brilliant.org/GeorgiaDow. So thank you so much to brilliant.org, and thank you to you. So those are some of my favorite Jinx and Vi moments, which show how beautiful and close this relationship has been. If I had to give my own psychological assessment of do they have the right skills to be able to repair this relationship, I would actually say yes, they do. Now, does that mean that they're going to use all of these tools? No, but they show care, they show love, they can show it in actions, even at their own risk, and be vulnerable with each other. But also their actions show that they have learned from their mistakes. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comments below.